What I have here is this magical apple called Cosmic Crisp. It's made news everywhere that it's the latest and greatest apple ever invented. It's the be-all, end-all apple. But I thought, I eat a Granny Smith for lunch every day. Is it any better than that? And what about all these other apples that I walk right past? Are they any better? All I know is the red ones were gross when I was a kid. So what I did, found 20 apples from 3 or 4 grocery stores, and we're gonna rank them by appearance, texture, and taste. And we'll see what the results end up. Who knows? Maybe the Red Deliciouses really are the best. I doubt it. But we're gonna go by alphabetical order. So first up is Ambrosia. All right, what do I think about this? It's got a little bit of yellow, a little bit of red. It's from British Columbia. Some family discovered it growing in their orchard. It apparently has a flavor reminiscent of pear, and it's not very acidic. But looking at it first, I give this a solid 6 for appearance. I like the multicolor aspect. All right, seems firm. Yeah, there's not much flavor, and texture's pretty rough. I'm gonna give it a 4 on texture, and taste of 5. Well, we're starting in the middle. One other mention, it's a little sweet. There's no sour to it at all. I have a cracker. Next up is Autumn Glory. All right, appearance-wise, it's fairly similar to the first one, but I think I like it because it's got a little darker tone into it. Looks more like an apple. Okay. Autumn Glory comes from Washington, and it's supposed to taste like cinnamon. Okay. All right, I'll try, let's see how it looks. Appearance-wise, I would say it's better than the other one, so I'll give it a 7. All right. It's definitely a cleaner bite than the Ambrosia, so I'm going to give that be very nice to it. I think it's an 8 for texture. Then taste, it's a little bland. I think only because I looked at Wikipedia can I tell that there appears to be some cinnamon-y to it, but maybe a little spice to it, but I don't know. It doesn't really taste like much. It's pretty bland again. So I give taste a 5. It is not sweet or sour. Maybe verging on sweet. It's just kind of bland. Next up is the BRAEBURN. Another apple I've never even heard of or have seen anywhere in my life. But it was in the grocery store all along. It comes from New Zealand, and it's supposed to be a little tardier. Appearance-wise, I might have picked a rough one that's got a couple sores on it. Otherwise, it's red and a little bit of speckled, with a slight color change. I would give it a 5 for appearance. Okay. It's supposed to be a little tardier. Let's see what happens. All right, mouthfeel, it's a little mealy, kind of like the Ambrosia, a little better than that. I'm gonna give it a 5 on texture. In taste, is really not so bad. It tastes kind of what I expect an apple to taste like. It's got a little bit of tart to it. It's not very sweet. Kind of not so bad. I'll give that a 7 for taste. And that gives us a total score
17.
Of 17. All right, 3 down, 17 more to go. Next up is CAMEO, and it's from Washington. It's supposed to be a somewhat related to a Red Delicious, which they probably shouldn't have told me. It is not related to the app where you can have celebrities call you or leave a message. Let me know in the comments if you've even heard of this apple. Alright, CAMEO. Appearance-wise, it does look similar to a Red Delicious. Here's a Red Delicious right here. It's not as dark. I kind of like how it looks. Give it a solid 7. Looks different. Alright, let's see how it tastes. Bite is really clean. It had a solid 8 for cleanliness. Taste-wise, man, these are we're on the 4th apple and they already start blending. It's got an apple taste, slight bitterness to the skin. Would I eat it again? Maybe. I'm gonna give this a give it a 6 for taste. This is CAMEO. Next up, oh, with glory and renown, it's the Cosmic Crisp. Okay. Easily the coolest looking apple. I do like how it looks. Let me give it a 9. Be very generous. It does look way cooler than this guy. Cosmic Crisp. Recently invented. Supposed to last over a year. It's from Washington. It's supposed to be amazing. The first day it came out, we went to the store. They were sold out. There were people rushing in to try to find them with no luck. They said, come back tomorrow. And less than a week later, they're everywhere. They even started breeding this thing back when I was in high school, 1997. So they've perfected the art of making apples. All right, let's see. Uh-oh. I don't think you can get any cleaner cut than this apple. So, it's got a 10. Uh-oh. And taste-wise, it's way better than these 4. So we're moving it all the way to the top with a 9 on taste. It's going to be tough. I hope Granny Smith pulls through. I don't know. I don't know. But believe the hype so far. Might have to rearrange, but so far it's gonna be tough. Next up is the Envy apple. I guess if I was ranking the names of them as well, which seems absurd, this would probably win because it's kind of silly. It's from New Zealand, but it's also grown in Washington, and it's really young. It's only 10 years old. So it was started after they started working on the Cosmic Crisp. Appearance-wise, it's not that impressive. It's kind of just a faded red to an orangey look. Give it a 4 for looks. Okay, now for tasting. Okay. It's pretty firm. Not as clean cut as the Cosmic, but fairly close. I'll give it an 8 for that. Taste-wise, it's it's similar to which one? I don't know. It's kind of got a apple taste. It just tastes kind of like an apple. So it's not too tart, maybe a little tart, and it's not too sweet. It's just kind of middle of the road. So I'll give it a 6 for taste. With a score of 18, it bumps ahead of the BRAEBURN solidly mid-pack. If only it looked cooler. The next apple is one I've actually heard of. It's the Fuji apple. It's from Japan, shockingly. All right, how's it look? It's red, slightly speckled, maybe some orange in it. It's actually kind of nice. I'm gonna give it a 7 for appearance. See what it tastes like. All right, it's definitely sweeter than the other ones. There's very little tardiness to it. Does it taste good? Yeah, it's okay. I'll give it a 6 for taste. And the mouth feels a little softer than the others, the good ones. So I'll give it a 6 as well. But not bad. I could eat this one. So with a 19, it bumps ahead of the Envy and behind the Autumn Glory. You can watch these apples brown in real time. Next up is the Gala apple, one that I actually have heard of again. And it comes from New Zealand as well. And it's supposedly the most popular apple. So it definitely looks like an apple. So the Gala and the Fuji both have 19 because they are the same. So whatever's on sale, get that apple if you like that. All right, next up is the Golden Delicious. Comes to us from West Virginia. It is a yellowish green with bruising. So some brown, even though it's not soft. it looks like it could be trouble. Appearance-wise, this is not pleasant looking. It doesn't, all of these are better than this. If I saw this, I don't know. I think I might be getting a pear or something. I wouldn't want this one. I'm gonna give this it's a 3, easy 3 on appearance. Because I know there's worse ones coming. Looking at you, Opal. It's got some tart to it, not like a Granny Smith or anything, but it's not too far off from what I know of a green apple. But mouthfeel, yeah. Again, it gets I give it a 4 for mouthfeel. Taste-wise, it's not so bad. I'll give it a 6 for taste. That gives us a total score of 13. Honestly, I'm getting nervous here. When I go to a grocery, I go beeline straight for the greenest apples I can find. And honestly, this isn't as green as they normally are. But I know it's the best, 'cause that's what I always get. And I just hope, I hope that's not better. I hope, because this is a lot cheaper than that. That's $3. The Cosmic Crisp is $3 a pound, and this is like $1 a pound. Okay. Appearance-wise, it's green, it's different, it's awesome. So I might be a little biased, but it's a 9. It doesn't have cool speckles like the Cosmic Crisp, but it is different in a good way. All right, taste. I'm not sad. It's the best still. Can't beat this apple. Taste-wise, of course it's sour and tart. That's what it is. When you buy apple candy, apple Jolly Ranchers, you don't get this. Get this. They're green because this is the best, has the most flavor. Can't beat it. Mouthfeel, it's not as good as this, unfortunately. I'm gonna give it I'll give it an 8 for texture. It might just be this one apple. Most of the time they're pretty firm. If they're soft, I throw them away. I don't want them. But taste is a 10. 10. All right, so it's only got a 27, which places it second place. But I know if my wife picked out the apple and not me, probably would have gotten a better appearance one. Maybe one that was slightly firmer, but still tastes good. Still tastes good. Second place. Best tasting one though. Halfway through the challenge and taste test. Let's see where we're at. So right now, Cosmic Crisp, still ahead. It's gonna take an amazing apple from what's left to get above this. I don't really see that happening, even though I've never heard of 9 out of 10 of those. And pulling up the rear is the Golden Delicious. It is not delicious. Okay. Next up is the Honeycrisp. It is not like the cereal. It is way bigger than any of the other apples here. It feels like you could hurt someone with it. Comes from Minnesota. And appearance-wise, I like the kind of like, it's stripy. Goes from red to orange with stripes. Give it a solid 8. All right, let's try it. Honestly, with crisp in its name, similar to Cosmic Crisp, I was expecting it to be quite a bit crispier, but it's not. I'll give that it's a 6. Taste-wise, it's not bad. It's pretty sweet and has that standard apple taste to it. It doesn't differentiate itself as the green ones or that cosmic one. A little better than bland. I could eat this apple. I would give it again, another 6 for taste. But with 20 points, the Honeycrisp is tied with the Autumn Glory. Okay, next up is the Jazz apple from New Zealand. Who knew New Zealand had so many apples? I didn't know there were so many apples anyway. Appearance-wise, I'm not gonna give it the merits for it being lopsided. It's different looking. It's not apple-shaped. It's got yellow to red. I would say it's appearance-wise. No. It's no different than the BRAEBURN, which it got a 5, so gotta be honest. Inconsistent, so Jazz gets a 5 for appearance. It's actually pretty good. I would actually eat this one. Mouthfeel, it's okay. It's a 7. Taste-wise, it's got some flavor. Kind of has that cinnamony-ish taste, like who knows which one was back in the Autumn Glory. It's good. I would give it a 7 for taste as well. It's appley without being bland.
19.
That gives it a score of 19. And so that is where a lot of these apples are now living. Next up is JONAGOLD. It's from New York. I don't think we get many New York apples out here in Washington. It's speckled. It's kind of cool looking. You can tell it's fancy. Like it could be something if kids still put apples on teachers' desks, this would be one to kind of do. So I'll give it an 8 for appearance. It's different without being unappealing. I don't know. It's juicy, which hurts its texture. So texture is down to a 5. I feel like this one you could like juice it or something. And it's definitely something almost feels like you could like squeeze it, like it's dripping. Taste wise, it tastes very similar to like the mid-pack apples. Give it a 6 for taste. But that's JONAGOLD.
19.
19. Uh-oh. The log jam continues. Next up is the KORU. And I know it's from New Zealand because I looked it up while I was in the store because I didn't know what it was or if that was just the company that made it. But it's the apple. Appearance-wise, it goes from yellow to red, kind of a dark red to yellow. It's different. It kind of makes it look... There's such a contrast that it kind of makes it look like it might not have supposed to be like that. So I'm going to take a couple points down on it. I'm going to give it a... Ew, it does have black spots on it. I don't know if that's supposed to be like that, almost like it's got clogged pores. That can't be good for scores. I'll give it I'll be generous. I'll give it a 5. But I'm not eating those black pores. What the hell? I don't know what happened with this apple, but it completely like broke down while I was biting it. I don't think it's supposed to do, I don't know. It's completely bland. It's sweet and there's no tart to it. But yeah, it broke off. What the hell? But at least it wasn't mushy. I'll give it a 6 for texture. And yeah, for taste, I'm going to give it a 4. It's just completely bland. Which I think we have a new second to last. Yeah, see, having red helps because if you're not pretty like this one and you're just blah, go to the back. Next up is MCINTOSH. It's from Canada, New England, and I speculated that maybe the computers were named from this apple, and Wikipedia says it is. Why are they white and not red? Appearance-wise, I like this side where it's darker red as opposed to this side where it's kind of yellowy. But it is kind of striped, so it's cool. I'll give it a 7. Speckled as well. It's little. It's a little guy. It's nowhere near. It's easily the smallest apple. It's almost like tomato shape. All right, let's give it a whirl. I can't eat apples. It's white inside. I don't know if you can pick it up, but it's very juicy. Again, probably good for juicing, but it definitely hurts the texture side. Give it a 5 for texture. Taste, it's not bad. It's sourer than this mid-pack, which helps in my palate. So I'll give it an 8 for taste. And that puts it firmly in the mid-pack. High mid-pack. Alright, we'll work on these. Obviously, we gotta spread these guys out. Alright. Next up is the Opal. It's from Washington. It even says sweet on the label. It's begging people to pick this thing up, even though it's completely hideous. I've never had one before, but it may be one of my wife's least favorite apples or her least favorite apple. Even the top of it looks horrendous. Can't get worse than this for appearance for an apple. Like, I think it's wrong. 2. 2 for appearance. Alright, better make up for it. Taste-wise, I don't really understand the hate. It's not sweet. Kind of has that cinnamony flavor to it. Mouthfeel's not so bad. I'll give it a 7 for mouthfeel. Taste-wise, it's in like this range, so it's not bad. I'll give it a 6 for taste, which yeah, so it's a total score of 15. But apparently this apple's claim to fame is that you can do stuff like this, bite it, and then just save it for later because it won't turn brown. We got a lot of room over here. It's a lot of mid-pack and then the 2 that have pulled away. Alright, next up is the Pink Lady, or Crisp Pink. It's from Australia. I would never have known anything about this apple, except that I see it in my refrigerator every once in a while. Never had it though. Appearance-wise, it's not pink. If you squint and look at it next to these, maybe? It just looks faded. It doesn't look good or bad. So I'm gonna give it a 6 for appearance. See how it tastes. Alright, I think I know why it's in the refrigerator. It's tardier. It's similar to Granny Smith, but like a toned down Granny Smith. And the texture is pretty good too. I'm going to give it an 8 for both the taste and the texture. 22. So that puts it at 22, which puts it ahead of CAMEO. And now behind Granny Smith, because it's not a Granny Smith.
Doesn't look like that.
Alright, next up is the Red Delicious. The iconic apple from Iowa. To me, if I saw Johnny Appleseed planting apples, this is what I imagine him doing. Appearance-wise, I don't know. It doesn't have the speckles of this one, but I like how dark it is. So, easy 9 for appearance. I did pick the darkest one too. I do like that one. Alright, taste. Please don't be so bad. Oh, God. Why? I'm only eating this because I don't have a trash can. That's terrible. Why would anybody? No. It's like eating gritty mashed potatoes. Why? Alright, texture is terrible. It's 1. You can't get any worse than this. And this has to taste better than this. It's a 2. And I don't really care if Golden Delicious is last. This has to be worse. And I think it is. Oh, it's bad. Don't do it. Just say no to Red Delicious. They should change the name to Not So Delicious. I need 3 crackers. Yeah, do you remember eating these Red Delicious apples when you were a kid? Did it turn you off from apples forever? Do you still eat these because, like what I did with the green apple, I just have it every day? Do you think it's the best and you just haven't tried any of these other apples and probably many others that I couldn't find out here? Yeah, let me know in the comments because it's bizarre. Next up is the Sugar Bee. It is from Washington State, fairly local. Appearance-wise, and it looks exactly like a Pink Lady, except with a little yellow, little extra yellow trim. So I'm gonna knock it down 1 for having the yellow trim. So it gets a 5. Okay, so there's no tart to it. A hint of sweetness. I mean, it should because it's got a little honeybee on it. But yeah, there's really no apple taste to it. Like whoa. It's just a little, it's a lot on the bland side. So I'm gonna give it a 4 for taste. And mouthfeel though, good texture. It's one of the better ones. So I will give it it's a 7 on texture. So the score of 16, it goes behind the BRAEBURN and in front of this pack over here. Oh, it's definitely the bottom half apple. 19 down, 1 to go. We've made it. It's the last apple. This one's called the SWEETANGO. They must be so proud of this thing that they only have 1 T in it. It comes from Minnesota. Apparently it's a hybrid of the HONEYCRISP. So it should be in this upper range if it follows in its parents' footsteps. Appearance-wise, it's red with specks. It looks almost identical to the BRAEBURN, but maybe a little more pinkish. Yeah, so it's a 6. Easy 6. Nothing special about the appearance. Alright, see how it tastes. It's on the bland side. Has a little of the apple taste that you'd expect. I didn't do it. A little bit of the apple taste. It's not really sour or tart or sweet. Maybe a little sweeter. Mouthfeel's pretty good. Give it an 8 for mouthfeel. It was cleaner than I expected. Wikipedia said like it's good for juicing, which it's not dripping. Taste-wise, give it a 5 for taste. It's I don't know if I would ever eat this one again, but it's not bad. Okay, with a score of 19, it falls into the mid-pack. Wow. There's a big pile up in the middle that we have to separate. Alright, unfortunately, I gotta work on the low end first. So, no more cracker breaks. We're just gonna go straight from one to the other. Alright. The taste test is over. Definitive, best, worst, the best. Complete. My hands are sticky. I've had enough fiber for a couple days. But in last place, Red Delicious, followed by Golden Delicious. I think they named them to fool you. Don't listen to the names. Marketing 101. Next is KORU. Not good. Followed by Ambrosia. Then OPAL. Then Sugar Bee. BRAEBURN. Envy. JONAGOLD. SWEETANGO. GALA. FUJI. Jazz. MCINTOSH. Autumn Glory. HONEYCRISP. CAMEO. Word up. Pink Lady. Granny Smith. And the winner, the challenger, comes in and wrecks the place, is Cosmic Crisp. Believe the hype. This has been sitting here a while, and there's no bruising at all compared to this guy, the BRAEBURN. Ooh. But the question remains, will I give up my Granny Smiths for this? I don't know. I like to be different. But if the prices come down on these Cosmic Crisp, if the prices go down, I'll buy Cosmic Crisp. I could eat any of these apples from like Fuji over to here. If you want more taste tests by a guy with a limited palate who's never really tried anything before, we'll see. It's a lot different than my standard drone videos, that's for sure. But again, thanks for watching, and I'm gonna throw some apples away now. right, it's official. Hawk likes the Honeycrisp.